Okay, the last part of the heat exchangers is that is another method of designing heat exchanger LMTD. LMTD method of heat exchanger analysis already we have discussed. With regard to a heat exchanger, when we know all the terminal temperatures. Terminal temperatures means for the hot fluid inlet temperature and outlet temperatures when known. Similarly, for the cold fluid also inlet temperatures and outlet temperatures are known. These are nothing but the terminal temperatures are inlet and outlet temperatures of hot and cold fluids, we say it as. When we know the temperatures of both hot and cold fluids both at inlet and outlet along with the mass flow rates and specific heats also, then we go for using LMTD method of heat exchanger analysis. And another method is there. So as a heat exchanger design method, that is NTU epsilon method. NTU epsilon method of heat exchanger analysis is there. That is what we are now discussing. Whatever that LMTD logarithmic mean temperature difference we have discussed about, that is applicable only with regard to the heat exchanger when all the terminal temperatures are known, or all the inlet and outlet temperatures with regard to the hot and cold fluids are known. We go for using this method for the heat exchanger analysis. Next method is NTU epsilon method. When do we use this? Only when you have partial uh, data related to hot and cold fluids. That means only hot fluid inlet temperature and cold fluid inlet temperatures only are known, and when there is no information available with regard to outlet temperatures of hot and cold fluids. When you have the information of hot and cold fluids only at inlet conditions, that is THI and TCI, when there is no information is available with regard to TH0 and TC0, then we go for considering alternative method known as NTU epsilon method. What is epsilon is effectiveness. So here, so what is the effectiveness method is? So effectiveness is the definition that is the ratio of actual heat transfer to maximum possible heat transfer through a heat exchanger. So the ratio between actual heat transfer to maximum possible heat transfer through a heat exchanger, that is known as effectiveness. So first we try to calculate what is maximum possible heat transfer, then effectiveness also by knowing. So then actual heat transfer is estimated as effectiveness times of Q maximum, where Q maximum we are getting in terms of purely on inlet temperatures of hot and cold fluids. Just by having the data of hot fluid inlet temperature and cold fluid inlet temperature, we can calculate Q maximum. So effectiveness of a heat exchanger also by getting effectiveness times of Q maximum will give Q actual. Effectiveness of a heat exchanger is defined as the ratio between Q actual amount of heat transferred by Q maximum, that is maximum possible heat transfer through a heat exchanger. So knowing the Q maximum and effectiveness, Q actual can be calculated. Again Q actual by equating to mh dot ch into thi minus th naught, that is the heat lost by the hot fluid. Also that is same as that of heat gained by the cold fluid in a heat exchanger, mc dot into cc tc naught minus tci. Equating those we can calculate. So you see here Q actual, that is what is nothing but already we are familiar. So the amount of heat lost by the hot fluid is nothing but the heat gained by the cold fluid. So that is Q actual equal to, this is based on hot fluid and this is based on cold fluid. After getting Q actual, that by equating to heat lost by the hot fluid equal to, this is heat capacity. So this CH tells you that there is the product of mass flow rate into specific heat. Capital C represents for heat capacity, that is the product of mass flow rate into specific heat. So straight away I have taken, so that heat capacity times into Thi minus Th naught. So you know the information of Thi, you know the information of this Q actual, we have got it as epsilon times into, that is effectiveness times into Q maximum. From there we have got what is Q actual, then what is Th naught we can calculate. Similarly, the same Q actual by equating to cold fluid also, this is heat capacity of cold fluid, mc dot into cc. Tc naught minus Tci. This is known, this is known, Q actual is also known, then we can fix up Tc naught also. So NTU epsilon method tells you that if we have the heat exchanger already available with so much of area, and when you have put it into operation, so or when you have used in the company or any of the industry, so when hot fluid is allowed to enter at so much of inlet temperature, cold fluid is also permitted at so much of inlet temperature, then from the operation of the heat exchanger, how much will be the outlet temperature for the cold fluid, how much will be the outlet temperature for the hot fluid, this is what we are going to find out. This is considered to be the simulation of heat exchanger also. So design is different, simulation is different. Design means, so here from the all known conditions, what is the size of the heat exchanger required? So that comes under design. So when you have the availability of heat exchanger, when you have put it into operation, when we have used in the actual practical case, what may be the final temperature we can get it for the cold fluid as well as for hot fluid. So that will come under simulation. So this NTU epsilon method is used for simulation of heat exchangers. Simulation of heat exchangers. So this is what is. So LMTD method was, as I am saying, that LMTD method is used in the design of heat exchangers when all the terminal temperatures are known. When all the terminal temperatures of hot and cold fluids are known. Next method, that is NTU epsilon method. So epsilon is the effectiveness, NTU is the, so that is number of transfer units. So physically that represents the heat exchanging capacity of the heat exchanger. For any of the heat exchanger, if NTU is maximum means, that means between hot and cold fluid, so the maximum possible heat has transferred, we can say that. If NTU is if NTU for a heat exchanger is less means, only less heat is transferred from hot fluid side to cold fluid side. That is the indication of NTU. Number of transfer units, that is the indication of representation of the heat exchanger performance. So NTU represents the amount of heat exchanged. So that is, suppose between hot and cold fluid, if so much of heat has to be transferred, whether the full heat has transferred from hot fluid side to cold fluid side, that will be known from the estimation of NTU. If NTU is maximum for a heat exchanger, or if it is equal to 1 means 100% heat from the hot fluid side to cold fluid side has transferred. If NTU is 60% means 0.6 means only, so from hot fluid side to cold fluid side 60% heat only has transferred. If NTU is only 0.1 means only 10% of the heat only has transferred from hot fluid side to cold fluid side. That is the meaning. So NTU epsilon method is that is used for simulation of heat exchanger. So when you have the heat exchanger already available, so through which hot fluid is allowed at so much of inlet temperature, cold fluid is allowed at so much of other temperature, then what may be the final hot fluid temperature, that is outlet temperature of hot fluid, what may be the outlet temperature of the cold fluid, that will be fixed from the method of NTU epsilon method. So now from the definition of effectiveness for a heat exchanger, effectiveness is defined as the ratio of actual heat transfer to maximum possible heat transfer. So actual heat transfer, how do you get it? So effectiveness by estimating, so that by multiplying with the maximum possible heat transfer. Maximum possible heat transfer we are getting in terms of only in terms of inlet temperatures of hot and cold fluids. So therefore, so knowing this and this, you can fix the Q actual value. So that by equating to, so as I told you, so that by equating to this relation, Tc naught can be fixed, also Th naught can be fixed. So this is what is the case of the NTU epsilon method. Let us consider, suppose in a counterflow heat exchanger of infinite area of the heat exchanger is available. Let us assume you have the heat exchanger, counterflow heat exchanger of infinite area is available with you. In these cases, so here hot fluid has maximum heat capacity than so cold fluid. So we are assuming that in that of the heat exchanger, the heat capacity of hot fluid is greater than the heat capacity of cold fluid. That means hot fluid is able to reject more heat, cold fluid is able to receive heat from the hot fluid. That is the meaning of having difference of specific heats. If for both the fluids also specific heats are same, no fluid can reject the heat, no fluid can absorb the heat also. So that is why In this case, we have assumed hot fluid has more heat capacity than so cold fluid. That means so more heat is available by the hot fluid, and cold fluid is eager to receive the amount of heat if any it comes onto this uh, consideration. So therefore CH is greater than CC means so hot fluid heat capacity is more compared to cold fluid heat capacity. So in that case, you see here in a counterflow heat exchanger, hot fluid enters in a heat exchanger with THI. After exchanging heat with the cold fluid, at the end of the heat exchanger, the temperature of hot fluid becomes TH naught actually. So we are saying that this is working like a counterflow heat exchanger. So in the earlier problems also we have seen only when you have used the counterflow mode of heat exchanger only compared to parallel flow mode, the area required by the heat exchanger is lesser. The area required by the heat exchanger is lesser. In that condition, every heat exchanger is also made to be operated as counterflow heat exchanger. So therefore, the cold fluid when it is allowed to flow in a opposite direction with the THI, and so we are saying that Cc is lesser than Ch. That means so Cc, that means cold fluid has more affinity to receive the heat, so that is discharged by the hot fluid. So therefore, when cold fluid receives the heat from the hot fluid, what may be the maximum temperature we can get for the cold fluid? So what? Hello.
మైథలాజికల్ పౌరాణిక డ్రామాలు ఆడే సంస్కృతి.
What may be the maximum temperature we can get for the cold fluid here? What may be the maximum temperature we can get for the cold fluid here is?
ఫేస్బుక్ ప్రేమన్న పేజ్ లో 100 మంది డాన్సర్స్ తో ఆ హీరో ఎట్లా డాన్స్
You see here when Cc is smaller than Ch here, so cold fluid has more affinity to receive heat from the hot fluid side. Therefore, so initially we assume that this heat exchanger has infinite area. So now, so hot fluid is so entering with THA temperature in the heat exchanger, and at the exit of the heat exchanger, the hot fluid temperature becomes TH naught. Since it is working like a counterflow mode of heat exchanger, so with the TCI, the cold fluid is entering from other side, and what may be the final temperature we can expect for the cold fluid on receiving the heat from the hot fluid side. Since Cc is smaller than Ch, the outlet temperature of the cold fluid is, so that is same as that of, so to what temperature we can increase the temperature for outlet of the cold water, so that is same as that of THI. Not more than this we can raise the temperature. So when cold water is entering at a temperature of TCI at the end of the heat exchanger, so the cold water temperature may increase maximum, that is equal to THI. Not more than this can be increased. So that means, so when this is the situation prevailed by the heat exchanger, having so heat capacity for hot fluid is maximum than that of the heat capacity of the cold fluid. In this case, the Tc naught will become THI. Practically Tc naught will become THA. Not more than this we can get it for the cold fluid. See here, hot and cold fluids are traveling in opposite directions to each other. So Tc naught at the maximum can be made equal to THI. So therefore, what is that we know? Q actual equal to Cc times into Tc naught minus TCI. Cc into Tc naught minus, this is based on cold fluid. So here when we are expecting maximum heat to be transferred means, so Tc naught must become, Tc naught should become, so THI. That is what we have just now seen. So therefore in the place of Tc naught we are replacing with the THI. In that case, cold fluid has lesser heat capacity. In that case, the cold fluid has lesser heat capacity compared to CH. So that is why Q maximum is transferred. So for the low heat capacity fluid, so when the outlet of the low heat capacity fluid is same as that of inlet temperature of the other fluid. So that is why maximum heat that has transferred through the heat exchanger is estimated as C minimum times into Thi minus Tci. So this is what is the maximum heat that has transferred through a heat exchanger. So that is equal to C minimum. What is the C minimum? So heat capacity of lowest heat capacity out of CH and CC. So whether for a hot fluid the CH is minimum or for a cold fluid CC is minimum. So out of these two, whichever is minimum, that we are taking here as C minimum, and this will be taken as CHI minus TCI. When counterflow heat exchanger is operated like this, for a counterflow heat exchanger having the infinite area, when cold fluid is allowed to enter at a TCI temperature, what may be the maximum temperature we can get it after receiving the heat discharged by the hot fluid side? Tc naught ultimately will become Thi. Not more than this we can increase. Similarly, other case if you take it, when Ch is less than Cc or Cc is greater than Ch, therefore outlet temperature of hot fluid will become same as that of, what is the temperature to which we can drop for the hot fluid is same as that of the cold fluid inlet temperature. So not below this we can drop. So not below this we can drop the temperature by the hot fluid. So this is what is the case. So when Ch is greater than Cc, in this case Tc not equal to Thi. So when Cc is greater than Ch, in this case Th naught will be Tci. So in this case Th naught will become Tci. So you see here again what is Q actual based on hot fluid. This is capital Ch into Thi minus Th naught. But what is that we have seen Th naught equal to Tci. Now in this place we have replaced with Tci. So when this is possible only so for a low heat capacity of the fluid. So for which fluid the low heat capacity is maintained? For the hot fluid. So therefore Q maximum is written as C minimum times of Thi minus Tci. Either from this equation or from this equation, from a heat exchanger, C minimum is Q maximum is calculated as C minimum times of Thi minus Tci. So this is the heat capacity of the low heat capacity fluid. This is the heat capacity of low heat capacity. Out of CH and CC, whichever will have lowest value, that must be substituted either here or here. Either in this equation or in this equation also. What is C minimum means? So out of the two estimated values of CH and CC, whichever is lower, that has to be substituted here, multiplied by Thi minus Tci, which includes only hot fluid inlet temperature and cold fluid inlet temperature. This equation does not contain any outlet temperatures. This is how we will calculate Q maximum for a heat exchanger. So we know what is mass flow rate, what is specific heat. From there we can calculate what is Ch, what is Cc. Out of these two, which is smaller, that can be substituted here. So for the hot fluid inlet temperature is known, for the cold fluid inlet temperature is known. From there, either from this equation or from this equation, Q maximum can be calculated. So this is what. So next is, so the same thing I have written. Effectiveness is represented by epsilon. So suppose if it is written based on cold fluid actual temperature is so Tci and Tc naught. Therefore Cc times into Tc naught minus Tci by C minimum into Thi minus Tci. Suppose the same is written based on hot fluid conditions. Effectiveness equal to Ch into Thi minus Th naught divided by C minimum into Thi minus Tci. This won't be changed. Denominator won't be changed. Whether it is for CH or CC, this won't be changed. So this is out of CH and CC, whichever is minimum, that will be taken either here or here and multiplied by Thi minus Tci, and effectiveness based on hot fluid, based on cold fluid are different. Q actual based on cold fluid is like this. Q actual based on hot fluid is taken like this. So from there, Q actual is calculated as so effectiveness times of Q maximum. So if for a heat exchanger, what is Q maximum? So this is the only equation we can take it. So just by knowing effectiveness value, Q actual can be calculated. Now we are trying to get for a parallel flow heat exchanger, what is the effectiveness relation? So effectiveness for a parallel flow heat exchanger or for a counter flow heat exchanger or for any kind of heat exchanger also can be obtained as a function of two non-dimensional quantities called as UA by C minimum. This is also known as NTU. So UA by CM is also known as NTU. C minimum by C maximum. C minimum means that may be of CH or CC. That may be of CC or CC. CH or CC. So after estimating the product of mass flow rate into specific heat, that is nothing but hot fluid product is this much, cold fluid product is this much. Out of these two, whichever is smaller, that is taken as C minimum. The other thing is taken to be maximum. C minimum by C maximum, either CH by CC or CC by CH. That is what is the ratio. Other parameter is UA by C minimum, that is known as NTU. C minimum by C maximum equal to heat capacity ratio, also we are saying it as. That may be of either CC by CH or CH by CC, depending upon the relative value of the CH or CC. If suppose CC has lesser value, CC by CH. If CH has lesser value, CH by CC, that is what is taken. So sometimes it is also written as C, heat capacity ratio. UA by C minimum is written as NTU, that is nothing but number of transfer units. So for a heat exchanger, number of transfer units represents the possible transfer of heat from hot fluid side to cold fluid side. If NTU is larger means, so the whole heat has transferred from hot fluid side to cold fluid side. If NTU is smaller means only little heat only has transferred from hot fluid side to cold fluid side. That is the meaning of. So heat exchanger, so NTU tells you that. So NTU tells you that the closer the heat exchanger reaches the thermodynamic limit of operation, larger the value of NTU, so the gap between the transfer of heat from hot fluid side to cold fluid side is lesser. So that means the possible amount of heat that can be transferred from hot fluid to cold fluid is maximum, we can say it as. Maximum. So that is, so here, so NTU significance is that one. As already I have told you that effectiveness for a heat exchanger equal to, assuming that C minimum equal to CC. That means cold fluid heat capacity is C minimum. So we are writing this effectiveness equation as this one. You see here, so in this case, based on cold fluid we are writing, so cold fluid has lesser heat capacity. That means CC is minimum. So in this case, from this relation, what can be written? Effectiveness equal to, since CC is minimum, C minimum into TC naught minus TCI by C minimum into THI minus TCI. Then this and this will get cancelled. What is the ratio that is left out here? TC naught minus TCI by THI minus TCI. So that is what we have written. So where we have taken that, so Q actual by Q maximum equal to, based on cold fluid, MC dot Cc, its value equal to capital Cc. So cold fluid heat capacity, Tc naught minus Tci, both are same, both they have got cancelled. So therefore this is also written like this. Then what is C minimum by C maximum? Cold fluid heat capacity Cc by hot fluid heat capacity. So since heat lost by the hot fluid equal to this, and so this is cross multiplication when done, mh dot ch equal to into this, mc dot into cc into this. Therefore, so the ratio between these two will be written as, this is by this, thi minus th naught by tc naught minus tci. We have already, so from the LMTD method of heat exchanger analysis, what is that we have written? Delta T2 by delta T1 for a parallel flow heat exchanger. For a parallel flow heat exchanger, when hot fluid enters with THI, leaves with TH naught, cold fluid also flowing in the same direction, enters with TCI, leaves with TC naught. Delta T1 is THI minus TCI, delta T2 equal to TH naught minus TC naught. Therefore, so from the relation of LMTD, Ln delta T2 by delta T1, what is that we have written? Delta T2 means TH naught minus TC naught. What is delta T1 for a parallel flow heat exchanger? THI minus TCI, that is equal to, this is already the relation available. If you see the LMTD method of heat exchanger analysis, is already available. From there I have taken. So again, so here from the definition of logarithm if it is eliminated, then this will become th naught minus tc naught by thi minus tci. Then this is natural log, means exponential of to the base of e. So then this will become e to the power minus ua by cc. So cc, if I take it out, so 1 plus cc by ch it will become. That is what I have written. So then this also can be written as Th naught minus Tc naught by Thi minus Tci, that is equal to exponential of what is Ua by C minimum or Cc, that is equal to NTU, just now seen the definition. What is Cc by Ch, that is the heat capacity ratio, just now we have seen. You see here Cc by Ch equal to C, Ua by C minimum equal to NTU. Sometimes it is also written as N also, simple. So that is NTU. The same thing I have written. NTU times UA by CC equal to, the CC is minimum, that is what we have assumed. So therefore UA by C minimum equal to, you see here, as C minimum we have taken it as CC. So that is why UA by C minimum equal to NTU 1 plus heat capacity ratios. So that is C minimum by C maximum. Now the term, the same can be rearranged as, in the same term we are rearranging as, one time I am subtracting, immediately I am adding TCI also. In this ratio, one time I am subtracting TCI, immediately I am adding TCI also. So no change of this relation. So that by writing, what can be obtained here is, and also, so Th naught by replacing from this relation. From this relation by replacing Th naught, what can be obtained is this relation I am getting. So that also by rearranging these terms, what is that I am getting here is, so 1 minus C minimum by C maximum, Th naught minus Tci by Thi minus, this is Tci, not Thi minus Tci, sorry, wrongly it is taken, minus of Tc naught minus Tci by Thi minus Tci. So what is C minimum by C maximum? Heat capacity ratio C. What is this ratio? This is actual heat transfer by maximum possible heat transfer, effectiveness. Again this is actual heat transfer by maximum heat transfer, therefore effectiveness. So therefore overall this ratio can be written as 1 minus heat capacity ratio times into effectiveness minus effectiveness. That is what I have written. Again, already I know that. So what is this relation I know? What is that relation I know here is, you see here. You see here is Th naught minus Tc naught. So from here, if I separate out only effectiveness from this and this relation, effectiveness alone by separating, I got the effectiveness for a parallel flow heat exchanger 1 minus exponential of E. So N means NTU, that is UA by C minimum. What is C means? C minimum by C maximum ratio, heat capacity ratio. Those by knowing, I can calculate what is effectiveness value for a parallel flow heat exchanger. Knowing effectiveness and Q maximum, I can estimate what is Q actual. Knowing Q actual, I can calculate what is, so Tc naught and Th naught also. So similarly for a counterflow heat exchanger, so the effectiveness relation analytically, this is analytical method of getting effectiveness value for a heat exchanger. So the first one, this is for a parallel flow heat exchanger. Parallel flow heat exchanger, this is the effectiveness relation. Next is, so same procedure by following, we also can get it for a counterflow heat exchanger also. So this is counterflow heat exchanger. The effectiveness value is written here. This is for a counterflow heat exchanger. So otherwise also you can take it directly from the data book. These are available in the data book also. So the effectiveness relations for various operations of, or various what is that, orientations of heat exchanger, for parallel flow separate, counter flow separate, cross flow separate, shell and tube heat exchanger separate. So the relations are available. So now based on this we are trying to work out what are the problems. A refrigerator is designed to cool 250 kg per hour of hot liquid. So refrigerator, what for it is used means to cool the hot liquid of mass flow rate 250 kg per hour, and the hot fluid specific heat is also given as 3350. That means mass flow rate of hot fluid is given, and specific heat of hot fluid is also given, and so that is hot fluid initially is considered at 120 degrees centigrade, that is Th is also given in a parallel flow arrangement of heat exchanger. They have given clearly, so it is operated as a parallel flow heat exchanger. So using what? Cold water of 1000 kg per hour. Mass flow rate of cold water is given, so which is available at a temperature of Tci is also given 10 degrees centigrade, and specific heat is not given means for water already, so that must be remembered 4186 joules per kg Kelvin. So we know all the specific heats, mass flow rates, inlet and outlet temperatures. There is no information about outlet temperatures. Therefore, LMTD method cannot be used. Only thing is, so that is NTU epsilon method only we have to use here. The overall heat transfer coefficient is given 1160. So watt per meter square Kelvin, and the heat exchanger area is also given 0.25 meter square. Then they are asking you to calculate what are the outlet temperatures of liquid and water. Liquid means hot liquid, water means cold fluid. So and also the effectiveness of heat exchanger is how much they are asking. Effectiveness means epsilon. Epsilon is how much? Epsilon is how much? Tc naught is how much? That means cold water outlet temperature, oil outlet temperature, that is Th naught is how much? Th naught is how much they are asking, that we are working it out. You see here the same problem we are working. Heat capacity rates for the same case. Heat capacity rate means mass flow rate into specific heat. For cold fluid, water is flowing at 1000 kg per hour. So having specific heat of 4186 per hour means per second if it is taken. Ultimately the heat capacity is written as 1162.77. Similarly for hot fluid, what is the heat capacity? mh dot ch. Hot fluid is entering at 250 kg per hour. So with the specific heat of 3350 joules per kg Kelvin. So that by substituting, what is the heat capacity I have got? On comparison of Cc and Ch, which is found to be smaller out of 232 and 1162, which is smaller? This is smaller. Therefore, this is what is C minimum. This is what is C minimum. That means hot fluid is having lesser heat capacity. C minimum equal to, so Ch equal to, that is 232.63. Automatically this will become C maximum. This will become C maximum. Out of the two estimated values of heat capacities, whichever is C minimum, whichever is C maximum, that we have got, the ratios I have taken C minimum by C maximum as 0.2, and also NTU I have calculated, that is equal to UA by C minimum. U is given, A is given in the problem, 1160, area is 0.25 meter square. What is C minimum? 232.63. From there 1.25 NTU we have estimated. Knowing NTU value and C minimum by C maximum, so that by substituting in the effectiveness relation of parallel flow heat exchanger. Just now we have seen that. So that is, what is that we have seen? You see here 1 minus exponential of NTU into 1 plus C minimum by C maximum divided by 1 plus C minimum by C maximum. Into this equation we are substituting. On substitution, what is that we have got here? So the effectiveness value we have got here as 0.6646. So now effectiveness is known as 0.646. Then what is Q maximum for a heat exchanger? C minimum times of THI minus TCI. Out of the two estimated values of CH and CC, which is C minimum 232.63, that is equal to C minimum into THI minus TCI. Q maximum is also calculated. Then Q actual is calculated as Q actual equal to effectiveness times of Q maximum. From there, so the Q actual is calculated like this. So this by equating to, based on hot fluid, CH into THI minus TH naught, also equated to based on cold fluid, CC into TC naught minus TCI. So all the things are known. This is known, this is known, and this is known, this is known, this is known, except TC naught and TH naught. Those I have estimated. So in the problem also they asked you to calculate what is TC naught, what is TH naught, and what is the effectiveness value. So this is analytical way of solving the problem. Other way, we have the chart solutions also. So knowing the C minimum by C maximum for a parallel flow heat exchanger as this much. So knowing the NTU value, UA by C minimum as 1.25 for a parallel flow heat exchanger. If you see here, this is for a counterflow heat exchanger. I have not taken the data book chart here. If you see here, so here the chart consists of number of transfer units, NTU values on x-axis. NTU values on x-axis, the chart consists of, knowing the, in this present problem also NTU is 1.25. What is C minimum by C maximum? You see here, so the curves of different C minimum by C maximum. knowing C minimum by C maximum and NTU, from there we can extend this point so to the left side of the y-axis. So where the value of effectiveness is available. You see here effectiveness percentage 0.7 or 0.72 or something like that. So we are getting, so knowing this effectiveness value also, so that also we can. If you feel that getting the effectiveness value analytically is difficult, means chart also can be used and you can get the values. So that is the way we can solve the problems. So next problem is for a counterflow heat exchanger. You see here water enters in a counterflow heat exchanger at 15 degrees centigrade. Water is considered to be cold fluid. Cold fluid inlet temperature is known. Cold fluid mass flow rate is known, 1300 kg per hour. It is heated by, cold fluid is getting heated by oil of specific heat, 2000 joule per kg Kelvin. So the mass flow rate of hot fluid is 550 kg per hour when hot fluid is entering at a temperature of 94 degrees centigrade. So THI is given, TCI is given. There is no information about TH0 and TC0. Therefore, LMTD method cannot be used. Only NTU epsilon method only has to be used. So suppose if the heat exchanger has 1 meter square of area with overall heat transfer coefficient of this much, then they are asking you to calculate what is the outlet temperatures of water and oil while it is working as a counterflow heat exchanger. Similar procedure again. Cc we have got, that is for cold fluid. So for hot fluid also we have got what is Ch. So out of these two, which is minimum? Therefore this is C minimum. On looking at the values, we can say that this is C minimum. Automatically this will be of C maximum. So this will be of C maximum. So therefore C minimum is, so hot fluid is having C minimum, that is what I have taken. Then what is C minimum by C maximum value? I have got. What is NTU value? UA by C minimum, that also I have got. Now for a using the chart. So chart also, to get the value, two other parameters must be known. Effectiveness, to get it, C minimum by C maximum must be known, NTU must be known. Now using this counterflow chart, so this is what is NTU is known, C minimum by C maximum is known. So now we can fix up a point. From here we can extend it to the left hand side of the y-axis. From here we can get what is effectiveness value. So that value I took it as, how much I have? 0.94. 0.94. So knowing effectiveness value, Q maximum is calculated as C minimum into THI minus TCI, which does not require outlet temperatures. So therefore that is estimated. Then what is actual heat transfer? Q actual equal to effectiveness times of Q maximum. I got this value. Q actual by equating to CH into THI minus TH0 based on hot fluid, Cc into Tc0 minus Tci based on cold fluid. Then hot fluid outlet temperature is estimated like this. Hot fluid outlet temperature is estimated like this. This is how the problems will be solved. So next is of cross flow heat exchanger. If you take it, water enters a cross flow heat exchanger. We have seen the problems based on parallel flow, based on counter flow. Now we are seeing cross flow heat exchanger with both fluids unmixed case. You see here. So there are two types of cross flow heat exchangers. Both fluids unmixed case, one fluid mixed, another fluid unmixed case. So where both fluids, so that is water enters at a cross flow, water enters a cross flow heat exchanger at 5 degrees centigrade. That is TCI is 5 degrees, and this is what is mass flow rate. MC dot is given 4600 kg per hour, and this is used. Generally cross flow heat exchangers are used for sort of gas applications. That means one of the medium will be gas in the cross flow heat exchanger. For example, radiator, if you see, so even though the water is getting cooled, across the radiator tubes air is blown. So air is the gas is the air there. That is what is cross flow heat exchangers are nothing but the gas flow heat exchangers also, we say them. Or for gas applications we use the cross flow heat exchangers. When one of the fluids in a heat exchanger is gas, means, so the kind of heat exchanger to be considered there is cross flow heat exchanger. Next, so water enters at 5 degrees centigrade at a mass flow rate of this to cool the air off. You see here, so air mass flow rate is given, so 4000 kg per hour to cool the air. Basically air is hot. So therefore initially when air is at 40 degrees centigrade, THA is 40. Assuming U value for the heat exchanger as 150 and the surface area as 25 meters square, calculate the exit temperature. TC naught is how much, TH naught is how much they are asking. Similar procedure. MH dot CH we have seen, MC dot CC we have seen. Out of these two, C minimum is CH. From there, C minimum by C maximum we have got from NTU. So UA by C minimum is estimated. Knowing C minimum by C maximum as this much, NTU as this much. Now from the chart of cross flow heat exchangers with both fluids unmixed case. With both fluids unmixed, you see here cross flow heat exchanger with both fluids unmixed case, you see knowing C minimum by C maximum and also NTU value, we can fix the value of some point here. From there we can extend it to, so y-axis of left side, then what is effectiveness that is taken, so that's value is taken here, and the same thing after substituting how much I have got here is 0.92, so that by taking Q actual equal to effectiveness times of Q maximum, then Q actual is obtained as this one. Since Q actual based on hot fluid equal to, so CH into THI minus TH naught is also equal to heat gained by the cold fluid CC into TC naught minus TCI. So then knowing this value, knowing this value, what is TH naught is calculated. Also knowing this value, what is TC naught I have calculated. Those are nothing but this. So this is how any problem on NTU epsilon method also can be solved. So hope you have understood. With this I am closing, and you see, so at least by this time you people might have felt the importance of having the data book with you. All problems in heat exchanger to be solved, you need to have the data book with you. Without the data book, no problems can be solved. So very urgently, if it is possible, as early as possible, so get the data book by ordering, so that by keeping the textbook also with you, you can solve the problems, as many number of problems as possible, so that you get the confidence. Hope you have understood. I am closing here. Next class onwards, I will try to discuss the last unit, that is radiation. So that is what the case. Don't leave. I am taking the photograph of your numbers. Any other thing you want to say? Hello? Any other thing you want to say? Any other thing you want to say? Okay, thank you.